Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Yikes. So, a couple of things to address in today's video. First of all, I told you so. You all said I was mad. You all said I was a clickbaiting little bitch. When over 2 weeks ago, I confirmed that Kamala was about to take over from Joe Biden.
Wakanda forever.
And by the way, don't correct me in the comments. It is Kamala. That's a thing now. Everyone's telling us that we've been pronouncing her name wrong for all these years. It's not Kamala, it's not Kamala, it's Kamala, right?
And I've heard from inside Republican circles and right-wing media that the hate campaign against Kamala Harris has begun. You'll notice they purposefully pronounce her name wrong. They say Kamala. They do it all the time. It is on purpose. But the talk is to start that hate campaign and get it going and start it churning.
And I think, personally, that's a really anal thing to get worried about. I live in Spain and I have to put up with everyone every day calling me Daniel, right? And mispronouncing the names of our celebs. Who the hell is Johnny Depp?
It is not Kamala Harris. It is not Kamala Harris. It is Kamala Harris.
It's bouquet, B-U-C-K-E-T, bouquet. The accent on the second syllable.
Who's Daniel Boland? Oh, Daniel Boland, this is a heavy hitter. Do you guys know who this is?
So it would seem Kamala Harris is the candidate for the Democrats going into this year's presidential election. So what are we going to do in today's video? We're going to do a number of things, but obviously we're going to take a look at a few more clips of Kamala to see her credentials, to see what she brings to the table.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
Okay. Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
Well, I'll bet Putin is quaking in his little boots at the mere thought of that juggernaut of international diplomacy taking over at the helm of the free world. Oh yes, you laugh it up, Putin, right? But the American people are angry, and they're going to vote accordingly.
Putin is watching this. That's why he wants Trump back, because Trump divides people. That's why. So does and Putin isn't. Please, I can't. I have the same birthday as him. I will not get over that. That is very shocking. I want to know how he could be a Libra. You know, I don't believe in astronomy, but that's the balanced personality.
Ooh, I wouldn't like to be a Russian right now. Joy Behar doesn't even believe in astronomy, but she believes in Kamala Harris. Yeah. And if anyone knows what's going on, right? They've got the finger on the pulse of the nation, the ear to the ground. They know the score. It's Joy Behar and the rest of her howling banshee companions on The View. She knows a bad cicada when she sees one.
The good cicadas and the bad cicadas. For the first time.
Anyway, another thing that's deeply concerning to me is where the hell is Joe Biden? He announced he was standing down. That was nearly a week ago. He hasn't been seen since. He has been AWOL in mind and body ever since the 17th of July. I wonder if... No, that would never happen in America, would it? Does anyone remember Margaret Thatcher? I can't find this news story anywhere, but I swear to God that Margaret Thatcher was found in her pajamas trying to buy some milk or something in her later years. Does anyone remember that? No? I don't know. Leave it in the comments. Link the article if you can find it, anyone, please. Anyway, I'm sure that's not happening to Joe, but they are trying psyops on us. They're trying to make out he's calling into shows to endorse Kamala Harris, when a week ago he couldn't string a sentence together. Now he can speak for 4 minutes uninterrupted. No pauses, no stuttering. It's amazing. It's I guess it's a weight off his mind, isn't it? Knowing that he doesn't have to go to the next presidential election. He's the same old Joe he was 10 years ago.
There's so much more we're going to get done. And so I want to say hello to Kamala if she can hear me. I know she's going to be speaking shortly. And I want to say to the team, embrace her. She's the best. I want to call today to thank everybody in this effort. I know yesterday's news was surprising and it was hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me to help us win this thing, help me get this nomination, help me win the nomination, and then go on to win the presidency. But, you know, you're an amazing team, but we've got a great, I think we made the right decision.
Now, a lot of people have noticed that he's sounding a lot more coherent, Joe Biden, there than he has done for months, if not years at this point. And they're saying it might be AI, it's a voice actor, it's whatever. I don't think it's any of those things myself. I think it's a recorded message and that they have edited it down to make it sound as coherent as possible, probably with multiple takes of trying to say the same sentence and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's going on there.
I know how hard you've worked, how many sacrifices you made, and so many of you uprooted your lives for me, and the kind of commitment few people make for anything these days, but you made it. And I've been honored and humbled. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. My word is a Biden, that for all you've done for me and my family. And we built the best campaign in organization in history. I've been doing this. I always kid and say, I know I'm only 40, but I've been around a long time. I don't know of a better campaign organization, grassroots campaign.
Now, I'm sure to a lot of you pedestrians who don't have the kind of recording experience that I do, I don't know, if you're not used to filming yourself or recording your own voice and stuff like that, then you probably won't hear it. But I'm fairly sure I can hear a lot of cuts that are too clean in that recording. It very much sounds like they're stopping and going again, saying, yeah, we've got that bit, let's try the next bit. And it is what it is, but it does feel like a continuation of this gaslighting that has been going on for so long, where they just sort of say, look at him, he's fine, he can speak for 4 minutes, when we all know he can't speak coherently for 4 minutes. We saw the debate with Trump, we saw his interview with Mr. Stephanopoulos, right? There is no way Joe Biden can go on, and this does go on for 4 minutes, uninterrupted, and without him losing his train of thought or going off topic and stumbling and mumbling and fumbling everything. Anyway, I fear Kamala Harris lets the cat out of the bag a little bit in this next clip.
And we got to keep our alliances together. It's critically important. It took a while for me to build these alliances. Most of these my colleagues have acknowledged that, but it's critically important for our safety and security. And I know I'll be doing whatever Kamala wants me and needs me to do in addition. So let me be real clear. We're still fighting in this fight together. I'm not going anywhere. And I want you to know you've always had my back, and I promise you I will always have your back. And I'm anxious for you all to hear from Kamala. So thank you, Julie. You're the best.
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call.
Excuse me.
Oh, I know you're still on the call.
What a voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call. Yeah, right. Pull the other one.
And we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us. And we do, everybody here does.
It's mutual.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I mean, call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but that was all very odd, wasn't it? First of all, she nearly says recording and says call, and then she insists, I know you're still on the call, Joe, right? And then goes on to say how much she loves Joe and Jill, and you hear Joe Biden's voice in the background, the feeling's mutual, right? I knew you were still on the call, right? That's crazy. That really sounded set up. I don't know if it is, but it really sounds odd. Okay, I feel like something's happened to Joe. I don't know, right? But everyone's saying how his signatures look weird on the statement that was put out, saying that he was standing down. His signature's underlined, which he doesn't normally do. I don't know if some medical emergency has happened to Joe and he's fully incapacitated and they're not telling us. Something odd is going on.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
Now, I'm not here to completely tear down the reputation of Kamala Harris. There are plenty of other people out there doing a much more thorough job of that than I ever could or could be asked to. However, I will say this. I don't like Kamala Harris. Okay? And the reason is I think she's a fake person. I think she's very disingenuous. And I think there's plenty of evidence out there now which justifies my feeling that way about her. I first came across Kamala Harris about what must have been, 2018 and 2019, so 6-7 years ago, something like that. And I remember she was debating Joe Biden on the stage, fake crying about how he opposed busing for little girls like me.
You also worked with them to oppose busing. And, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
You all remember that clip, right? And then suddenly she gets picked for VP, and oh my God, Joe Biden I love Joe Biden. He's the most honest, incredible man. This country is that's bad enough for me, but it is what it is. Maybe you change your mind about somebody. Maybe you say what you need to say to win the candidacy for the leader of the Dems. But the thing is about these career politicians, right? And she is that. These people who have done nothing really other than work in and around politics their entire life. Kamala Harris is this bleeding heart socialist now who really, gets the BLM rioters. She's on their side. She's out there in these streets.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets.
Out on these streets. Oh, the mean streets of Oakland in the San Francisco Bay, where your mother worked as a biomedical scientist and your father was a professor of economics. That's neither here nor there, though, I guess. It could just be cringe saying out on these streets when she's obviously from a privileged background. But it really is indicative of her character. Honestly, it is. And all of these career politicians, these people who've done really nothing else other than working in and around politics, as I said before, it's the way she, in 2020, egged on the BLM rioters who were burning cities to the ground all over the US, saying they will not stop. They will not stop ever.
But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And this is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should not.
As though it was a good thing. And yet, when she was working as a prosecutor in California, she wanted to be known as this no-nonsense, tough-on-crime lady boss. And as I say, you can go and research this more thoroughly for yourself. It's all over Twitter. It's all over the internet. She was known for imprisoning thousands of young black men, more than anything else, of course, for marijuana possession, blocking evidence that would have lightened sentences, even for people on death row. And, some really pretty shady, terrible stuff. And it kind of puts me in mind of another career politician in Joe Biden. If you look at Joe Biden's speeches from the 1990s, when he's boasting about his crime bill, and how so many more crimes under my bill will result in the death penalty, and you're thinking, that is so crazy that 30 years later you would never dream of saying something like that. That means your entire ideology has shifted. And you could say that it's wise to change and adapt, but I just don't buy it. I don't buy it when people change so much. Even the way Kamala got her foot in the door, and I know this is a really gossipy, low thing to say, and everyone's saying it at the moment, but the way Kamala went from being a nobody public prosecutor, age 25, to at age 29, sitting on the board of the Unemployment Insurance Appeals, I think it was, and the California Medical Assembly, and she was appointed by her then boyfriend, Willie Brown, the Speaker of the Assembly of California, I think he was. She was 29, he was 60. It was love at first sight. That's how she got her foot in the door. It's just very House of Cards. I don't like it. It gives me the ick, all of this. Can I put my finger on it? I think we've established I can't.
I'm endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris.
Oh, look who it is endorsing Kamala now. It's Elizabeth Shitting Bull Warren. How?
Because she's ready to step up, bring our party together, go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and win in November. I have known Kamala Harris since...
many moons past. Silly, really.
Back right after the 2008 crash, when she was Attorney General in California, and I was setting up the consumer agency, and we fought shoulder to shoulder.
Ah, yes, they fought shoulder to shoulder, Kamala and Shitting Bull, at the great battle of Carpet-Burned Knee.
To push back against the big banks that were cheating America's homeowners. Kamala has been a ferocious warrior.
Well, you would know one, Shitting Bull. Oh, I gotta stop. It's not even funny anymore.
On the issue of abortion, and under Kamala's leadership, we're going to get Roe versus Wade back into law of the land. But the part that's fun to think about is when you're up against a convicted felon, who better than a former prosecutor to take it straight to Donald Trump? I'm here for Kamala because Kamala has been here for the American people year after year after year. She's ready to do this job, and she's going to win.
Kind of ironic, isn't it, that you've got Elizabeth Warren on the one hand there, who pretended to be Indian, and you've got Kamala, who is actually half Indian, who never seems to mention it, She talks about being black, but never plays into the Indian stuff. It's kind of food for thought, I guess, something to...
When men tell you they don't like Vice President Harris's laugh, they're telling you women, all women, you don't deserve joy. I promise, we do.
Well, we live, we learn. That's about enough, I think, for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. If you've enjoyed the video, though, give it a like before you leave. Let the algorithm know how much of a great time you've had. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out all my social media. All the links are in the descriptions there so that you don't ever miss a new video. And if you want to help out with the channel and get access to some exclusive content, then you can check out my Patreon. It's down there in the description as well. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one, I guess. Bye.
Poor hubby. Poor hubby.
No.